Hey everybody, so I'm bringing you guys a deck profile again, but this time I found out something about this game that I wasn't sure about, but then I ended up finding sort of a ruling on it, and I was able to create a new type of deck. This is probably just like more set 1 stuff, because once we get the set 2 stuff, or I guess we should say set 0 stuff, and once we get the set 1 stuff, this is going to change because you're going to have access to more color combinations, but I really like black and green, just generally as colors. And I wanted to create a black-green themed Signy deck, but currently there's no teams out that are black and green because we have the Ancient Surprise, which is blue, red, green, and we have Simbaka, which is white and black, but I really wanted to mix them. So I was confused on this sort of a skill. So where they say the team name, what that indicates, I found out. I used to think that it meant you cannot play the card if you didn't have the team present as your Lyrics. They had to all be from the same team, and it says over here where the team is. But I found out that actually it just negates the effect of the card. You can still play the card. So I said, well, wait a second, this is interesting because now I can basically mix teams, and then that gives me access to color combinations that I didn't have before. So again, I'm not sure it's like hyper competitive if you're trying to build a really competitive deck, but it is definitely fun and it allows you to explore different color combinations. So I'm going to share my black-green Signy deck, and I'll just go to walk you through basically the thought process behind it. So for center, we're running the Toko line. So since I'm not running entirely Simbaka, she's not going to have an ability, but she will still act as our center Lyrig. And yeah, you are taking a hit in terms of being able to have a Lyrig as your center that doesn't, it's just basically vanilla, but it does give you access to your Signy, and this is really like a Signy-based deck. And what we're doing with our piece cards is also only accessible to us because we're playing green and black together. So you do lose out on her ability, but honestly, I don't think she has the strongest of the Simbaka units. I mean, I really don't think she's like the strongest one, so I don't really miss it too much. There's never really been games where I've said, oh, I wish I had her ability, so I'm not missing it too much. And then for the assist, it doesn't matter because they don't have the team restrictions. So then you get access to, I'm actually running white in this too, just for the, I don't know how you say her name. Is it Liz, Lize? I have no idea, but I'm using this line for her because she is an amazing level 2 assist. And it gives us access to white, but I'm actually not running any white because I really wanted this deck to be black and green. So we're just using her essentially for her assist ability. So her first one is we're using the level 1 that looks at the top 7 for 2 black virtual Signy, and then we can put them into our hand and the rest go to the bottom. Since we are running a lot of black Signy in here and they're all virtual, that usually hits. And then, so that's basically like a draw 2 kind of. And then the level 2 assist we're using is like the best one in my opinion. You, on place, return a opponent's Signy to their hand, and then it has another ability. You pay a white and a colorless, and you can add a Guardian from your trash to your hand. So that's insane because you should know at this point if you've been playing how important those cards are. So yeah, so basically that's what we're running for that. And then I'm running the line. I guess that's how you say her name. I don't know. Because she's really good as well. So her stage 1 is just a vanish ability, power 7,000 or more. So she's really good when they're at 2. Usually, sometimes you have those level 1 units that are 2Ks that get plus 5K from something. So sometimes she can hit a level 1, but most of the time it's level 2s. But she's just a good vanish unit for main phase. And then her level 2 is really, really nice. I like this level 2 a lot. So her enter ability is the next damage you would take, you don't take. So it can be, that can really save you. And then the other ability is you can put 3 Signy with different classes from your enter zone to the trash, and then you vanish a target Signy on your opponent's field with 10,000 or more power. So she can actually shut out 2 attacks. It is kind of a cost of 5 because you need the 2 to get her out, and then you need 3 more from the enter zone, and they have to be different classes. But it's worth it to shut down 2 attacks. So I really like her a lot. And we do run a lot of different classes because we are running green. So there's a lot of that sort of mechanic going on. So these are my Lyrigs. And then for the piece cards, I'm running the 2-cost piece that is, as long as you have a white and a black Lyrig, which we will because of them, you can add a white Signy, a black Signy, and a colorless Signy from your trash to your hand. So the white one isn't going to happen too often because we're only running 4 white cards in here. But the black will obviously happen a lot, and it's, you know, getting you the guard back. So that's really what matters, honestly. And then for the other piece, we're running the green Lancer piece. So up to 2 target Signy on your field with power of 15,000 or more get Lancer. And that's just really good because you're going to be doing that because of the other units we're playing. And it's a 4-cost piece, and it's as long as we have a green Lyrig, which we do. So it allows us to have access to these 2 pieces together, which is really nice, because normally you wouldn't be able to play both if you were running just the Ancient Surprise deck or just the Sembaka deck. So this gives us like a blend, and either one of these are team restricted in any way. So yeah, so it's really cool. So moving on to the level 1s, we are running 4 of Melissa. She's really good. As long as there are 5 or more virtual Signy in your trash, she gets plus 5k continuously, so she'll be a 7k. And then her enter abilities, you put the top 3 cards of your deck into your trash. So, you know, black does have a lot of recursion stuff in it, so that isn't a problem. And being a 7k base as a level 1 is really nice. So she's just a simple, good black card. Obviously, we're running our 4 servants, so that's obviously a necessity. You need those. Then we're running 4 of Fuyuki, and her ability is a combo that goes off with one of our level 3 Signy we're running, but her on-enter ability is a target Signy on your opponent's field gets minus 1,000 power until the end of the turn. And just so you know, I'm not sure if you're aware, if the Signy's power drops to 0, it gets vanished, so it gets put into the enter zone. So that's going to be something you're going to see come up kind of in this deck. Then we're running 2 of a green Signy, which is Camelopar, Natural Planet. I don't know if that's pronounced right, but her ability is as long as there are 3 or more different classes among Signy in your enter zone, she gets plus 4,000. So she's sort of similar to this one. This one gets plus 5, but she's a 2k base, and this gets plus 4, but she's 3k base. So again, it's that 7k thing. And then we're running 2 of Skanda, and her ability is a cost of 2 green and a colorless. You put a Signy on your field into the owner's trash, and then you vanish a target Signy on your opponent's field with power less than the power of the Signy put into the trash this way. So kind of a complicated skill. Honestly, I don't use it too much, but she does have a really nice enter charge ability when she's life bursted. So it's enter charge 2, and then you add a Signy from your enter zone to your hand. So if for any reason you enter charge, you know, one of your servants or something that you need, just sort of toolboxes your enter zone for you, and then gives you a net 1 to your enter, which is nice. So these are the ones we're using, and it's just really cool to be able to see the black and the green together. So then for the 2s, we are running 2 copies of our little Venom Girl, which we love. As long as there are 3 or more different classes among Signy in your enter zone, she gets plus 5k. That's a continuous skill, so that makes her an 8k base. And then once per turn, you pay 2 green and a colorless, and another target Signy on your field with power 15,000 or more gets Lancer. So she kind of is like a mini version of the Peace card. So that can actually be really good and can definitely win you games because she's just a threat. Not running too many of her, but again, she also is Venom. So we still are thinking about the class thing, sort of. If you watch the other deck profile, we were very concerned about that because that was kind of the whole deck. This isn't as much about that, but it kind of still is. So we want to make sure we can diversify the classes in this deck if we can. Then I'm running just the Senno Rikyu. He's just a 10k vanilla, but he is a Brave class, and his life burst ability is enter charge 3, which is absolutely insane. You can be set up for so many plays with a huge enter zone, and this the green cards are mostly interested in that. Then we're running 4 of Mireille, and she's just a 5k, but her enter ability is paying a black, and you put the top 3 cards of your deck into your trash, and then you put a level 1 virtual Signy from your trash onto the field. And that's important because the combo we have with our Fuyuki is part of why she's in here. But you can actually target a bunch of things. It's not, doesn't have to be just her. And then we are running 4 of the vanilla that's white and black, and this is our white access. Like I said, it's not much in this deck, but we use it just essentially the only white we really need in here is for the assist. So it's not super important, and there's a reason we're running the 10k base and the 10k base. I might actually cut 2 more of her out for something else with a 10k base. We can't up these because we're already at our limit of 20 for the life cloth, but I'm going to try to look around and see if there's other cards we could be using, because the 10k bases is really important when we get to our level 3s. So let's move on to that. So I really wanted to make a deck based on that was kind of focused more about her. And this was the idea that kind of started the deck. I was like, what if she was like a bacteria unit, but like that would go with black cards. So what if we did this like black green sort of toxic poisony kind of deck? And that was my idea in my head when I came up with this, just for a theme. So amino acid, natural bacteria queen. She's a 12k base, and her continuous ability is, if the Signy would get minus, she gets plus instead. So if they try to minus her, basically she's just very anti, like any sort of life burst abilities from black or minus abilities from black. So she's just really good. She cannot be minused. And then her other ability is during your turn, other Signy on your field get plus 5,000 power, which is why it's important we're running those 2Ks that are, or the level 2s that are 10Ks, because the plus 5 makes them 15k, which then activates all the Lancer abilities. So that's definitely important. So she's kind of like the one that gets our win conditions turned on. So we definitely want 4 of her. And then I'm running 3 of Rena, and she combos with that one that we were with Fuyuki. So Rena's ability is whenever the Signy attacks until the end of the turn, all Signy on your opponent's field get minus 1,000 power for each virtual Signy on your field. So again, that's only going to work with the black cards in here because none of the green cards are virtual, but all the black cards are, and the black-white card is. And then her enter ability is if Fuyuki is on the field, a target Signy gets minus 4,000. So if you do a turn where you play Fuyuki, that minuses at 1,000, then you play her, that minuses at 4,000, so that's minus 5,000. And if you happen to have 3 virtual, when she attacks, that's another minus 3,000, so that's minus 8,000. And that can actually just wipe units. So it's this sort of like stacking of minusing abilities. Of course, I'm not going to ignore the fact that if we did have our center Toko online, she also once per turn can minus something 3,000, so that would put 11,000. So that can actually clear units like really easily. But we're not doing that for this deck, so we do miss out on that. But the minus 8,000 is fine. Usually there's something you can hit with that. And even so, if you need to just get over things, that's also nice. So these 2 combo together, so we're running them both at 4. And her life burst ability is you add 2 virtual Signy from your trash to your hand. And I didn't go over her life burst, which is also really good. So you enter charge 1, and the next time you would take damage from a Signy, you just don't take it. So she's got an insane life burst ability. Did I miss any other life bursts? I don't think I did. Oh yeah, I didn't go over the level 1 life burst. So let me just do that quick. So this is, you can pay a black and a colorless, and if you do a target Signy on the opponent's field, it gets minus 12,000. So that's like pretty much going to clear anything except her. And so that's really good defensively. She's an enter charge 2, and then you add up to 1 target Signy from your enter zone to your hand. I think we went over that one. Then you obviously have your servants, which are getting back Signy from the drop. Yeah, those are the ones I missed. And then our other level 3 we're using is Atalanta, and her ability is you put 3 Signy with different classes from your enter zone into the trash, and then you vanish the target Signy on your opponent's field with 8,000 or more power. So again, it's just more clearing, more vanishing, which is winning you games essentially, because it is vanishing is really, really strong. And so yeah, so that's like pretty much the deck. It's pretty straightforward. It's not that complicated. You do need to be aware of what you're enter charging, because you want to make sure there's a variety of classes in your enter zone, so that way your skills will be live, like her skill will be live, and some of the grade 1s we're using will be live. But it's not as important as like in the other deck I posted. So you're really it's just kind of a fun deck. Like I said, I don't think it's like super competitive. I don't think it'll handle a lot of, the competitive decks that are out, but it's not a bad deck by any means. And I don't know, I think it's fun, and it's fun to be able to play around with these colors and be able to blend them in a way. Because I don't think we have any decks coming out that are white, black, and green. At least not yet. because next set we have 4 different decks, but none of them are white, black, and green. So until we start to get like those units where you're able to really blend colors, you're gonna have to do stuff like this if you really want to have access to these colors together. So yeah, so that's it for this deck profile. Again, it's a fun deck. Let me know if you're doing any sort of creative deck crafting or theory crafting with this game yet. There's definitely a couple decks that you're seeing a lot of the kind of same lists. So I'm trying to create decks that are a little bit more fun and just experiment with the ways cards can work together in this game. So what we're really doing with this deck essentially is minusing the opponent's units and through our black cards, and then plussing our own through our green cards, and then giving them Lancer. So it's just sort of creating a gap between the power between our opponent and us. And it's really a simple strategy. Like I said, it's not very complicated. And it is fun. So let me know what you think. And if you're enjoying the Wixoss content, definitely give a thumbs up and leave comments if you're playing and what colors you're liking together, and maybe what cards you're excited for our next set, which is coming out very, very shortly. So that's it for this video, and we'll see you next time.